everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. The program is going to be twofold. One, we will cover the official items of the Urban League, and then we will have our two guest speakers, which we're very honored to have. And Don West and Ken Cooper, in terms of the work that they've done, it's just been exemplary. And so it really captures the essence of what Boston is all about. And it really gives you a real true flavor. So they're going to give you, walk you through much of what they have accomplished. And so we're very honored to have both of them. So I don't want to take much more because I know the two of them are very capable of articulating what they have not only captured in photo, but also captured in writing. But we're going to be led tonight by one of our vice chair of the Urban League Board of Directors, and her name is Andrea Kershaw, and she is the general manager or regional manager?
You can promote me, but yeah, regional vice president.
That comes with this job, you know that.
All the time, we try.
But she is the regional manager for Enterprise Rental. And some of you may or may not know that Andy Taylor, who is the chief executive officer in St. Louis, is a very strong proponent. And each one of your successors, Brad Carr and David Cohen, who sat in the role of the Urban League, also got promoted. One went to Europe, one went up to Maine, and even Canada. Yep. So I keep track, and they send me notes, and so you're flying in good company of your colleagues who came before you in terms of enterprise, and having Andy's support at the national level, it really means a lot to this movement. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I present to some and introduce to others Andrea Kershaw, the Vice Chair of the Board of Directors of the Urban League Eastern Massachusetts.
Thank you very much. So I'm really, excited for this year, and I really hope that anything you can do to help us throughout the year, but especially with the gala. So tapping on friends and coming up with silent auction items. I'm sure Nancy she'll be ready for all of that. So please, thank you very much, and have a happy holiday. Hope you have a wonderful evening tonight. So thank you very much. I will now ask, is it Rona to come up for the report for the treasurer?
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair. In my role as treasurer, I always look for Andrea to be in the room, because if she's not there, Attorney Feaster has told me that I need to step up. So let's always make sure Andrea Kershaw does Darnell's leadership is, I was deemed a friend of Darnell many, many years ago, and was then asked to be a part of the Urban League and what the league does and the work that the league does. And in working with the team, my commitment continues to grow, and as my roles have changed, and I've now been asked to be the number counter, I want to thank Jackie George and her work and what it is that she does. And so at this stage of the game, I'm here to talk about the money. And it is my honor and my privilege to call up Joseph Feaster.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I see there's Baptists in the house. Thank you very much. I'm wearing a striped shirt because I'm the board referee. But after what I endured during the meeting, I think I needed to bring my shield. But it's been a pleasure serving on the Urban League board. There's a lot being done. I'm excited about what we experienced at our board meeting before the meeting that we had here, the participation and the commitment that was made by folks. It's great to see all of you here who are interested in the Urban League and members of the Urban League. And I also chair the development committee. And thank you for giving them a warm Urban League welcome. That's my report, Madam Vice Chair.
Well, now we will have the report from Dorothea, the Guild President. Dorothea Jones, thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, My name is Dorothea Jones, and I'm the interim president of the Urban League Guild. Tonight I'm going to speak briefly about the Urban League Guild, our 2015 programs and initiatives, our upcoming events, and our membership. I'd like to express a lot of gratitude for all of the members that we have, and I encourage also people to join. I guess we'll have a fight because we're looking for new members also. So I'm encouraging everyone to also consider joining the Urban League Guild. I would like to have President Williams come forward so that we can give him our donation for the our annual dues. And we very definitely consider all of the hard work that President Williams does and all of the things that he does off the record that are so generous. We truly thank you.
All right.
Thanks everybody for bearing with me for this long report.
Thank you.
I would like to bring up Rochelle Villerson for the Young Professional Network report.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair, and thank you, President Williams. So I'm going just to recap a little bit about who the Young Professionals Network of the Urban League of Eastern Massachusetts is, what we do, and what we have done, and what we're planning for the new calendar year. So as of last year, we achieved one of our goals, which was to increase membership by 100%. So we are now at 80 members, which is a huge deal for us. We were a little bit lacking on membership, but we've worked really hard last year to solidify our membership, to offer benefits, to offer intrinsic benefits in order to get the membership. So we're very proud of that. So we need a round of applause for that.
I need a vote for the acceptance of all these reports from the treasurer, from the nominations committee, the guild, and the YPN.
So moved.
So, great. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Perfect, thank you, so passed. Further, we have one more thing, is regards to the bylaws. We spent, Jackie and the team spent a ton of time this year revamping our bylaws, and then the board reviewed them and went over them today and passed them. Once we get acceptance here from the annual meeting, they will be revised and in effect. So I need to see if anyone can move to accept the bylaws.
So move to accept the bylaw.
Okay? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Fabulous. Thank you very much. Now, I would like to introduce, as you all know, not introducing, but bring up Darnell Williams to give his report. But again, I just want to say this year, come on up. I just want to say this year, and every year, but this year especially, your leadership continues to impress the board, and we are very grateful that at the end of the day, it's in your hands. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Thank you, everyone, for being here tonight. You know, we had a discussion about what I would say tonight, and I'm really something that I say, but then it's always always very difficult for me to do because I'm going to say this with a straight face, but I will be brief. I say it with a straight face because, you know, it's a challenge because in my heart, this is really not work for me. This is my life, this is my ministry, this is my passion, my path, and my purpose. But we're going to split my speech or my presentation to be brief. So I'm so happy with my team because my job is to carve out the vision, and their job is to work with me to carry the vision out. I'm so pleased with that. That those two things, the State Street and solutions work. I can go on and on, but then that would be more than called brief.
Okay, so it is my pleasure to introduce Don Williams and Ken Cooper as our guest speakers. What did I say, John West? Did I say Don Williams? I'm wondering where Darnell is. Darnell? No. Don West, I apologize, and Ken Cooper to the stage for the guest speaker. Thank you.
I'm proud to be a Williams.
Oh, I know.
Well, I'd like to thank you all for this opportunity for us, Ken and I, to share our book with you tonight. The book looks something like this, coffee table book. And a brief explanation of what the book is. It's a tribute to leadership in the Boston community over the last 30 years. And that means people who've made a difference, or people who've stepped forward, saw things that needed to be corrected and did something about it. And the Urban League is no slouch in that, because one of the persons who's in the book is the former director, Joan Wallace Benjamin. And you can kind of see the format of the book also. It has the text here, the background, which Ken wrote, and the photograph that I took of the individual at some point in time. Another person that you're familiar with is Mr. Williams. And again, you can see the difference between the two photographs. One was a horizontal and one's a vertical. So we can see how we can, with the vertical, really fill the whole page with the picture. And then we have the text on this side. And So you see that we have all generations here represented who have made a difference, and certainly Nancy has done that. So that people, when they come to Boston, they can see, who these people are that made a difference, that allowed them to come back here after 30 years. So we had the exhibit there that was very well received, and it evolved into this book. And that's where Ken Cooper came in. He is a fantastic writer. He's a Pulitzer Prize winner. And of course, we have to have the best. So I'd like to have Ken come share with you the stories, some of the background, just a little bit of the background stories, because he interviewed over 65 people that are in this book, personally. So he has some interesting insights.
I'm not sure Don mentioned, but I was for a long time and still am a journalist, and watching Darnell's clip with John Keller was a little tickled because I've covered a lot of politics, and one thing I know is whenever, and this is a rule, watch this, whenever a new black person gets elected to political office, white journalists will ask, do we have a new generation of black elected officials coming? When Obama got elected, when Duvall got elected, it's a standard stock response. And what makes the treatment a little wanting is that they never say shift from which generation to which. I think Nancy Youssef's a Gen Xer, Charles Yancey, the baby boomer. And the shift does not happen all at once. A woman in this book, Gloria Fox, who's a state representative, I discovered in interviewing her, she said to me, I'm the longest serving woman in the Massachusetts House right now. I said, really? And quickly, in my head, I did a calculation about how long women have been in elected office in this country. And then I asked her, I said, well, what about the longest serving ever in the House? She said, I don't know. And I thought, so what about the longest serving ever in the legislature? She said, again, I don't know. And I did some checking. One sort of false start with the League of Women Voters that didn't know, but they referred me to the Women's Caucus on Beacon Hill, which I don't think existed when I covered the legislature for the Boston Globe in the early 1980s. And the director got back to me and confirmed that already then, and this was 2 years ago, Gloria Fox was the longest serving woman in the Massachusetts House ever, and with a term more and change. She was elected first in special election she would become the longest serving woman in the entire legislature ever.
And thank you so much, because what a wonderful display and an opportunity to have all of the leaders from this area. I think that is so important, because I think, you know, very often you think, you know, that how could I be like that? Or how, you know, I've been with the same company for over 20 years, and, you know, you always think each promotion, you're like, can I do that? And you get nervous. You know, you want to believe in yourself and you talk a good game, but when you get there, you're like today, when Darnell told me I was going to be leaving tonight. I'm really interested. But, you know, sometimes leadership is thrust upon you. But I think that's a really great book and a really great example for you know, for yourself to read, or to give to someone else to show them that, you know, you can start anywhere. So thank you again for all of your time and participation tonight. It's not over. This meeting part is over. So anyone want to move to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. So, thank you. We will have our little hospitality party next door, right in the next room, this way. I don't know which way to go, but this way. Thank you. See you there.